Hello and welcome to the Josh and Foster podcast. I am Foster and this is my co-host Josh.
Hello, hello.
We are here to talk about some hockey today. Big news, first episode of the podcast. Um, I am a big Sabres fan, and Josh, what are you?
I'm a big Leafs fan.
He's a big Leafs fan, so one of us is going to the playoffs this year, and it's probably me. So
That's a good joke.
yeah, well, we'll see. Taylor Hall helps. Um, all right. So let's dive right into some World Junior talks because Josh and I have a little bit of thing going tomorrow because tomorrow is Canada versus Russia. So the Leafs' top prospect is on Team Russia and he's dominating. And my top prospect, Dylan Cousins, is on Team Canada and he's probably going to win the MVP of the tournament. He's been downright awesome. And the Sabres have that Jack Quinn guy in there too. And just wasting his time on the team. He looks horrible. That's gonna be a tough game. What do you think, Josh? Canada versus Russia.
Honestly, I feel like it could go either way. Um, Kind of looking at it, Canada's penalty kill has been very poor so far. Um, but if they can get that under control and if they're able to get a lot of shots on net, I feel like Canada will be able to beat Russia. If they're unable to do that and kind of play like how they were last game, I definitely feel like Russia could take it away from them.
I could see that too. I could see that too. Yeah, Russia lost 2-0 to the Czechs, and Canada just beat the Czechs 3-0 in the quarterfinals. So, and that was a tight game. The Czechs were really hard on the Canadians, but man, that goalie they have in Canada, and Devin Levi, he looks like he is going to be a stud in the NHL. And the Russian goalie, he was 15th to the Predators, and that guy looks like a wild man in that net. Oh my. I see him jumping around, losing his stick, easy pucks. Like the goal that the Germans scored against the Russians was not the best goal, and they almost scored a couple others with like deflections and stuff upstairs. It's usually in glove hand too a few times. It's not a good sign. So we'll see. And I know Craig Button on the game was talking about he's so surprised how many times he sees the goalie lose his stick. He said it's happened a lot in the tournament, and he goes. And then Ray Ferraro on the game was saying, you watch Devin Levi and the puck gets sucked in, and then you watch him, and it's like he creates his own problems. So we'll see if Canada can take advantage or if the Russians will just dominate them because they're a big, fast team. Man, there's some big boys in that team, and see if they can handle that size because Canada's got some shorter guys out there, and Connor McMichael, he's not the biggest guy, so we'll see. All right, we'll flip over to the Americans versus Finns. This might be a little bit more lopsided, I think, to the Americans.
Yeah,
Yeah. The Finns played the Canadians. They played okay against the Canadians. They played pretty much a smothered game. They beat the Swedes. They were down 2-0 to the Swedes, and they came back and they beat them with 20 something seconds left in the game. Swedes, this is the worst Swedish team we've seen since like 2006. Like they never lost a game in the round robin. Now they lost two in a row, and then they lost three straight to Finland, and then they lost a third straight, and they got knocked out. They had so many people missing, but their coach had COVID. Like three of their players that were supposed to come had COVID. Their goalie's pads didn't even match the jersey. It looked absolutely horrible. I don't know if you saw that, Josh. That was rough. If you gotta look that up, that was whew. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Finns can do it. The States have that Caulfield that's from Montreal. He seems to really be picking things up recently, and that Zegras guy, oof. And then who else do they have there? Knight. I don't know about him as a goalie. He's hit or miss. Um, yeah, they've got Johnson from Buffalo, but they've got Sanderson. Is it Sanderson from Ottawa?
hmm
Yeah, he looks good. Yeah.
definitely think if Finland works hard, they could come back in that game, just like how they did with Sweden. When you take a look at the team comparisons wise, the states do beat them on scoring efficiency, but when it comes to their power play and their penalty killing and even their goalkeeping, it's pretty much the same across the board.
Mm.
Overall, the problem with Finland that the states need to capitalize on is the amount of penalties taken, because Finland has taken a lot of penalties when the States have had just around half of what Finland has. But it'll definitely be interesting to see. Definitely feel like it's more of like the States will have the easier run there, but you know, things things can happen, surprises can pop up and
Bunch
show.
of
But
17, 18, 19-year-olds and emotions run high. This tournament's usually better with fans, though. This tournament's electric with fans. In Edmonton, that place would be rocking and roaring, and I know they said that on the broadcast the other night, that teams are getting very lucky that Canada does not have their fans behind them. Because
mhm,
if they did, I would feel so bad for Stützle on that German team. Oh my God, that 16-2 game. Those poor guys. That goal horn for Edmonton is horrible. They need to change that immediately. That thing just, my ears bleed every time I hear it. But the goal song for Canada's bad too. But oh my God, like they'd be hearing that and the fans would be roaring on them, and I don't even know how they do it. And
yeah, well, Canada definitely got lucky with all the COVID positive players on Germany, but
yes,
they took advantage. They got close to beating the record for goals in a game.
they did.
Didn't quite make it, but they were close, which is crazy to think about.
It is very crazy. I feel like we were I think we were pretty young when they did it. I kind of remember the talk about them doing it. I remember a couple years ago they got close too. All right, so that was a little World Junior talk. Hopefully, when we come back next, Canada has won it. That'd be awesome as two Canadian guys. So we're gonna move over to the NHL and we're gonna go to some divisions. Which division would you like to start with, Josh?
So that's totally up to you.
You want to start out west with
Sure.
the West Division. So out there we have West Division.
We got
Mm,
Anaheim,
yep.
Arizona, Colorado, Los Angeles, Minnesota, San Jose, St. Louis, and Vegas.
So the top four are pretty easy. Colorado's going to win it, probably, in my opinion. I could see St. Louis and Vegas are going to be in there with them. Vegas and Colorado are going to come down to the wire. I think it's either going to be Colorado's going to run away with it, or Vegas is going to give them quite a close. And then after that, I don't know, maybe Minnesota. Do you think Minnesota takes that fourth spot, or
Yeah, for my top four, I had Colorado number one, Vegas two, St. Louis three. I did put Minnesota in fourth. Arizona, there's somewhat of a chance possibly for them to try, but they would be the only other team, in my opinion, that I feel like could try to take the final spot.
agreed? It all depends on their goaltending. If they get the goaltending they got last year, they could do it. But Darcy Kemper, I think that was a bit of a 1 year wonder for him. And talking about this division, talking about Minnesota, they got a new captain today. They got a Jared Spurgeon, 31-year-old defenseman. He's been there for a few years. They had Mikko Koivu, who was there for a long time. He went to the Blue Jackets this offseason. That's going to be a little weird, but yeah, they got a new captain today. What do you think about that, Josh?
I think it's good that they can at least have a captain on their team. He is a veteran, so he should be able to kind of help some of their younger players and hopefully bring the team together more.
Very true, very true. So let's move over to the Central Division because we'll leave the two wild divisions for the last. We both have pretty good opinions on those ones, but the Central we've got Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, and Tampa. Obviously, Tampa's going to win that. That just seems like this is just a warm up for Tampa.
Yeah, they are going to be missing Kucherov though at the
They will
beginning.
be, yes, but I
So
feel
I
like they could.
definitely feel like at the beginning they could be down on points, but by the end, I feel like I agree with you that they will come back and get the
We'll
first
see how
place.
tired they are because they played a long time like with in going to the Cup final in the bubble.
Yeah.
Um, Carolina, I think, will be in there.
Yep.
They have great defense. Their defense is awesome. Their goaltending is a little suspect, but I think they can make it through it. Dallas, they seem like a good team. They just went to the Cup. If Ben Bishop's
Hmm.
healthy, see them going back.
They're going to want
Um,
revenge.
yeah, exactly. They're going to be playing Tampa a lot, so those might be pretty good. Um, And in my last pick, I had Florida. Who did you have as your fourth?
The fourth, I had Columbus.
Columbus. That's see, it's toss up between those two, in my opinion. To see if Bobrovsky has a season like he had last year, Florida stinks. But if
Mhm.
he's on his game, and I think Columbus like exceeded expectations. I was personally stunned when they knocked the Leafs out, and now this year with Pierre-Luc Dubois, who did sign a new contract recently, a 2-year deal, 10 million. But there's rumors the reason why he signed a 2-year contract is so Columbus can trade him. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that about trade rumors.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to come back and he wanted to sign a short-term deal so Columbus could trade him. As
Interesting.
yeah, because he doesn't want to be there long term. So just I guess he's done with torts.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'll definitely be interesting though because Columbus has been a team that definitely I feel like has
yeah,
surprised people in the
that's true.
past.
They play a
Um,
tough game.
they beat Tampa 2 years ago in the playoffs
True.
in the first round, which was very surprising. No one was really expecting that. And then just this past season, again, kind of with the qualifiers, they took out the Leafs. They had a better chance against the Leafs than Tampa to start with from the year prior, but it definitely was still a shocker to most people, I feel like.
Very true. Who do you think comes last in this thing? I think it's gonna be Chicago this year. Now that
In
they
this
lost,
division?
yeah. Now they have Chicago. That Jonathan Taves is has that health issue. I hope he gets better. He
Yeah.
was my favorite player growing up. He's so awesome, 200-foot guy. And Kirby Doc breaking his wrist at Team Canada. That's two of their number one centers
Hmm.
that are out, and they just signed Dylan Strome.
Yep.
You were telling me earlier. So him as a
Yeah, they
number
got him
one,
for they only signed him for another 2 years too, so
yeah,
another short term deal. But only 3 million a year, which I feel like is a little cheap for him.
yeah. Well,
I feel
we'll
like
see
he
if
could
he
have
can
gotten
handle.
more. That's
What was he?
true.
What was he picked third overall? And I would not say he like is worth third. The guy
Yeah.
after him is clearly worth third and has got 11 million. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I think Detroit makes a big step this year. I think Detroit's going to be better.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. We'll have to see how long their injuries stay out for.
Yeah,
Because if they do come back, then I feel like they will be able to beat Detroit. But if not, then I feel like they could probably be one of the worst teams in the league.
very true. They may get the first overall pick. And Nashville's kind of in that dead zone where they're not good, they're not bad, they're kind of
Yeah.
right in the middle.
Yep.
They're kind of screwed. All right, which division you want to go to next? The of the Wild divisions, the North or the East?
Um, Maybe we'll go to the north.
The North. We're going
Leave
to go
yours
up.
for last.
Yeah, save mine for last. All right. Who is in your top four, Josh?
Well, out of the north, everyone should know it's all the Canadian teams. We got Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. My top four for how I think it's going to play out. I do think Toronto will get the first spot. Um, I would put Calgary at number two. They've been able to acquire a lot of players, especially from Vancouver. Um, I put Edmonton at third. I still feel like McDavid can kind of pull it out. And then fourth spot, I did put Montreal in. I feel like, especially with the acquisitions that they've made as well, there's a chance that they can make it to the playoffs. They made it to the qualifier last season and they were able to beat Pittsburgh to go into the first round. So I feel like they can pull it out. It'll definitely be interesting, but we'll see. What did you say?
I had in my top four, I had Toronto number one and Calgary number two. I think that's going to be very close all season.
Yep.
They're both good teams. Whichever goalie, I think, between the two of them gets off to a hot start, it's going to take them. If Anderson starts the way some seasons he started, I think he's going to get number one. They're going to get that. Um, as you said, the Calgary acquisitions. Number three, I actually had Montreal. I think Carey Price, if he comes like the way he was in the bubble, that's going to be scary. With that team, that offense, high flying. Who knows if they bring up Caulfield and if he comes and that's gonna be high flying offense. And I actually put Ottawa. I think that there is a little potential that the Senators might do some damage. That with Kachuk and Shabbat and getting Murray, who I don't think is a great goalie, but still a lot better than the other guys they had. They play for Smith with CJ Smith, their coach. They seem to love him. I've heard on other things about Brady loving him, so we'll see how that goes. I did not have Edmonton, and I do not think they're good. I think they stink. I think McDavid and Draisaitl are going to take them places, and they're going to get them close. But beyond McDavid and Draisaitl, they've got their defense is not great. Nurse is awesome, but beyond Nurse, there's not really anyone else. Clef bombs out. There doesn't sound like they're going to bring their Swedish top prospect or Evan Bouchard, both defensemen, which is what they need. I don't understand why they won't. Their goaltending is horrible.
Mhm.
Horrible. Like Smith was not great last year, and he's old. So, and their other goalie's been okay, but I don't know. He's only had a few seasons, so we'll see. But yeah, in Vancouver, I think Vancouver has a shot. They may take that fourth spot. They've got
They've
some
lost
high
a lot of people though.
did lose a lot of people, but they have that high flying offense with Pedersen and who else they have? They have that Quinn kid who is a small defenseman. I still think people always argue him and McCarr. I think McCarr is better. And they've got some high flying offense up there, but I don't think they can do it. They've lost too many people. Holtby, who knows what he is? He was so inconsistent in Washington. He won a cup, but was that him or was that the Capitals? So we'll see. That division's going to be fun. That division's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun.
Well, and Montreal's still making moves because they just signed Corey Perry as
Oh, they
well for a
did, yes.
1 year contract.
Yeah, and the Canucks got Thomas Hamonic on a PTO. So, and the Leafs made a lot of moves too. We'll see how Jumbo does. I saw that Jumbo was playing like some lines with Marner and Matthews today at practice. I don't know how he'll even be able to get up and down the ice with the two of them. Like halfway through, he might just start huffing and puffing and just get off the ice halfway through the shift. I think that should be. I know you probably feel pretty strongly about that too. That should be Hyman. I know you're a big Zach
Yeah.
Hyman guy.
Yep.
Jimmy VC, as a Sabres fan, I saw a lot of Jimmy VC last year. That guy he stinks. He doesn't know what's going on the ice. He's lost, overrated out of college. Shouldn't be up there on number three. I think that Robert
Robertson.
Robertson, yeah, he's gonna be good. I think he should play on that second line. Doesn't have to do much. Just kind of sits there. JT and
Yep.
Willie can just shoot it over to him and bang. And Brody on the back end. That guy's gonna be good on the back end. He's gonna help some things. He's gonna really make some things happen back there.
Hopefully, because Toronto, throughout the years, they've definitely been, especially last year, their defense hasn't been the greatest.
Yes.
So it's definitely one area that hopefully it's better this year. And if their defense proves that they can't handle it again, then I definitely could see Calgary taking the division. It's going to
Agreed.
come down to if Toronto can score for one, but they got to be able to hold on defense and on goaltending.
100%. They would have won against Columbus last year if Muzzin doesn't get hurt in the corner. Muzzin plays in that series against Columbus, they win. He's been awesome since he showed up. All right, so we're gonna move over to the East, which is my division, and I think
In my opinion, probably the craziest one.
this is gonna be wild. This division has every team in this division could make it except for New Jersey. I don't think they have any shot, but every team can make it, and all depends on what happens. So if you want to give your top four, go right on
Yeah.
ahead.
So just in case people don't know, this is Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, the Islanders, the Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington. So overall, kind of top four starting at one. I do have Boston as the first one. I feel like that's pretty obvious. I put Philadelphia as second. They did pretty good overall last year. Pittsburgh, I said third. And then fourth, it's kind of depending for me. As of right now, I would say Washington, but I would say the Islanders very well could easily take it. The reason why I have Washington in right now is because they still haven't signed Barzell. If they can sign Barzell before they start to play, then I feel like the Islanders will take it. But I feel like it definitely will can come down to him because he is such a great player on that team.
So I heard recently that the talks are not going well between them and the Islanders within the past few days. He's supposed to be going to New York, so maybe something will work out then. But apparently, right now the
Mhm.
talks aren't going well. I know he has issues with his coach. Benched him a couple times because he's gotten too fancy and he's caused some issues. So we'll see. My top four, I have Boston number one. Their blue line's a little suspect, but see how Rask comes back. Because remember, Rask left
Yep.
bubble, so we'll see how that goes. If any of them are upset at him, we'll see how that goes. But we know their offense is going to score. The big three, we know who they are, so we'll see how they go. I don't like Marchand, but gonna probably get. He's probably gonna lead. Him and Pasternak are probably gonna get the lead in points. Probably the two of
Well,
them.
even with Boston, just with
Yeah,
both of their goalies, like
they're the
even their
best.
backup is he can easily be a starter on another team.
Yeah, he really could. I have Washington number two. That offense is just that offense. They're gonna score goals. Their defense, John Carlson's a
Well,
Norse,
that's their problem is their defense and
and they've got a
goalie.
young goalie who did pretty well last year.
Mhm.
Young, but he did pretty good. So we'll see how that goes.
But they also don't have a backup really right now.
They don't, but did they not just bring Craig Anderson in on a PTO, I
Maybe.
believe? I think they just brought Craig Anderson in on a PTO. And they did just sign Big Z. They brought in Zdeno Chara. That's going to be weird. I think that out of all the people, all the guys leaving, like Jumbo going to Toronto, Wayne Simmons being in Toronto, Corey Perry being the Canadian, I think Chara being um, anything but a Bruin is going to be weird. Unless he
Yeah.
was a Senator, because he played for the Senators before he was a Bruin. But like being on the Capitals is just going to look. It's just not going to look natural.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's gonna be weird. He's now because he no longer Boston's captain. Now actually Cindy Crosby is the longest
oh,
present captain right now.
that's a little. And who do you think Boston's going to go with? I think Bergeron.
Who do you think what, sorry?
Who do you think Boston's going to go with as their captain now? That I think it's going to be Bergeron. I just see like leadership just oozing out of
I
that
don't
guy.
know. They might not honestly, they might not even pick a full on captain this year. They might just do a few assistant captains. I could see
I can see
at
that
least
too.
two of the main three being kind of assistant captains,
I
but
don't see them giving Marchand a seat. I feel like that'd be just
no.
with all his antics on the ice with him licking Komarov, like I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
My number three team, I'm gonna go with the Rangers. I think that offense is gonna be flying with Lafreniere this year. Him and Panarin and Zibanejad and Capo Caco. Let's see if that guy's actually good. He's got a legendary name. Their defense is pretty young, but we'll see how that works out. They've got a good young goalie. I know last year he almost saved their playoff lives. He looks good. Another Russian goalie, Shosturkin, I believe his name is. He looks good. They could really do something. Um, I have my Sabres in. Probably not a big surprise. I think with the moves they did by bringing in Eric Stahl and then bringing in Taylor Hall, which let's be honest, no one saw that coming. No one saw Taylor Hall coming to Buffalo on a 1 year contract, $8 million. That's going to be wild. Him and Jack Eichel, the two of them are
If
going to
they
be.
don't make the playoffs, I think Hall's out of there.
I would agree with that. I think if they don't, but I think if they do, there's a chance that he does come back. We'll see. They
Yep.
said the reason why they didn't offer him a long term is because of COVID this year and money. Um, we'll see. Their goaltending is suspect with Omark and Hutton. Hutton couldn't see last year apparently, which is a wild topic. That a goalie was blind. Can't believe that. He had depth perception issues. He apparently got that fixed. We'll see. Their blue lines, Risto sucks. Deline could be a Norris Trophy winner some point in his career. We'll see if he makes a big jump. If he makes one of those jumps that Morgan Riley made, Morgan Riley went from a really good defenseman to like one of the best defensemen in the NHL within like a year or two. So
Hmm.
if we're if Deline does that, Jack does an MVP kind of caliber thing, and Hall is MVP number two right beside him, and Olsen pops in a bunch of goals, the and Eric Stahl is not completely just a slug getting up and down the ice, and he actually can play. And Buffalo could do it. And you never know with there's a lot of talk that Dylan Cousins, as we talked about earlier from Team Canada, who will win the MVP, I think, of this tournament, sounds like is going to come at the beginning of the season. And he looks disgusting. Um, the Flyers, I think that goes with Hart. I think
Hmm.
Hart will take them as far. If Hart stinks, they're done. If
Yeah,
Hart is if Hart is a Vesna winner, kind of like we didn't really go into Winnipeg in the North Division, but if Hellebuck is a Vesna winner again, Winnipeg will go. There's a few teams that have that. If their goalie is awesome, they'll take them places. I don't think Pittsburgh's much anymore. Pittsburgh's if their goalie's again good, like we're talking about goalies being good, and Jari was great, but Murray stunk. But that team's getting old. Crosby and Malkin are just old. They're
for
getting
sure.
they're getting hurt. They did not do some good moves. Trading away Patrick Hornquist for Matheson, that's a bad trade. You mentioned to me earlier that they signed someone today.
Yeah, John Marino.
Yeah, I've never heard of him. He got a 6-year contract. I was like, what? Who is
Well,
that?
looking at his stats, he's a good defenseman for them.
Oh, is he?
Last year, he played 56 games with them. He got 6 goals, 20 assists, so 26 points in total, and he was a plus 17.
Well, that's pretty good for a young defenseman.
Yeah.
And Chris Letang, who knows what that guy's gonna be like? He's had so many health issues. I'm surprised he's still going. Who else do they have left in that division? The Islanders. Well, as we talked about, we'll see what happens with Barzell. If Barzell holds out, they have no offense.
Yeah.
That team is offensively challenged. They've got a great defense, but they made that horrible trade by getting rid of Devon Taves for 2 second-round picks. That was like a top 4 defenseman that Colorado just once again got another great puck moving defenseman. Just seems
Mhm.
unfair by now. Got that guy on Team Canada, Bowen Byram, who looks amazing. So that'll be unfair, but I don't know. I don't know about these Islanders, man. They lost Grice, and they have another. Once again, I don't know what is with this division and young Russian goalies. There's like 3 of them in Washington, um, and both New Yorks each have a young Russian goalie. So we'll see. This
Mhm.
guy's supposed to be good as well. So if they're all good, all 3 teams make it. They all suck.
Yep.
None of them will make it. It really, all of these, everybody in this division is relying on goaltending except for Boston because they're just going to be fine. They're just going to score. And I know me and you both, we didn't even, New Jersey's not even good. We'll see about that first overall pick. And Jack Hughes,
Yep.
no, Jack, sorry, that's Buffalo guy. I have him in mind. Jack Quinn. Jack
Yeah,
Quinn.
Jack.
I don't know, he looks soft, looks small. So we'll see with them in the future. Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else, Josh?
No, I think that is it for today.
Hockey, most teams are coming back, and if anyone is looking for a little hockey, Monday at 1 o'clock there will be a training camp game on. I heard for Buffalo on YouTube. Probably gonna check that out, at least to have some hockey, even if it's just a training camp game.
Hmm.
Better than nothing. And tomorrow
Better than
night,
nothing.
better than nothing. Hopefully Eichel's back because he's hurt right now, and that would be sending for Buffalo. All right. Well, one more thing I have to say is my Bills just crushed Miami Dolphins today. So we're going to the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl. We'll see you in the Super Bowl,
Good
Bills
luck.
Mafia. All right. This has been the Josh and Foster podcast, and we are signing off.
Until next time.
Till next time.